A very good afternoon, children. Today we are going to learn a very important topic of economics of class 9th, that is Green Revolution. As the name suggests, it is Green Revolution. We are going to talk about the revolution which happened and why it happened, what is the reason. We will be coming to know. Now let me introduce what was the Green Revolution and who introduced it. Green Revolution was introduced in 1965. The government, with the help of the genetics Mr. M.S. Swaminathan, known as father of Green Revolution, launched the Green Revolution. Now, why is Mr. M.S. Swaminathan known as the father of Green Revolution? Because he is the person who started this revolution, and this revolution lasted from 1965 to 1978. But what happened in this revolution? Was this revolution successful? Were the farmers satisfied with this revolution? Were they happy, and did this help them? Come, let's know. Now, two main practices which were involved in this green revolution was introduction of high yielding variety seeds. Now, what is the meaning of high yielding variety seeds? The HYV seeds were imported from the outside countries, and they were used by the farmers, and the expanded use of fertilizers. Now what happened here? What earlier India was importing it from outside, and the farmers were not able to give that much of money, and they were unable to take it. But in some way the rich farmers who were able to purchase this high yielding variety seeds was very helpful for them, but the poor farmers could not afford it. And also the expanded use of fertilizers was also costly. Now let us go to the principal technologies which were associated with green revolution, where the artificial fertilizer, irrigation, insecticides and pesticides, and mechanical machinery. Now what happened here? Now in green revolution, the fertilizers were not natural, irrigation techniques were different, insecticides and pesticides were imported from outside, and even the machinery used were mechanical. Now let us know what were the benefits of this green revolution. The benefits of green revolution was increase in agricultural production. Yes, obviously the high yielding variety seeds were used, so the production was also increased, and the people who could afford it, the farmers who could afford it, they had more amount of money, because the high yielding variety seeds could help them to grow more crops. And reduction in import of food grains. What happened here? When they when the high yielding varieties seeds helped them to grow their own food grains, so they need not import it from outside. Say they grew their own food grains, and from the money they purchased more food grains, and they used to grow it on their lands. Capitalistic farming means what? The big farmers who had more hectares of land, what happened? Green revolution was a very benefit thing for them, because they had invested a large amount of money for the inputs like high yielding variety seeds, the fertilizers, machines, and all these things were helpful because the amount of land was large, so they grew more crops and they could earn more money. Throwing back of profit means whatever they earned the money, they purchased more seeds, and the more seeds they purchased, they grew more crops, and the more crops they sold and got more money. So it was just like a cycle. And industrial growth, green revolution brought about large scale of farm mechanization, which created in the demand of machines like tractors, harvesters, threshers, combines, diesel engines, electric motors, pumping sets, etc. Now, what happened here? When the production was more, even the large scale farm mechanization created more types of demand, and more types of demands for what? Different machines like tractors, harvesters, threshers, combines, diesel engines, electric motors, and pumping sets. If you see all these machines were used to help them to increase their production. But do you think that this was successful? There were many disadvantages of Green Revolution also. Poor farmers could not afford, as I told you at the starting of the session. It is good for the farmers who had money. But the poor farmers who could not afford this HIV seeds or the fertilizers or the machinery, what will happen to them? How will they earn money? Again, it is a disadvantage of green revolution. Some farmers borrowed and ended up with large debt. Now, what happened here? People could not afford, so what they did, they tried to borrow money from others and they tried to use it in the for purchasing. But what happened there? They borrowed money but could not repay it back, so it was a large debt. New machinery replaced manual labor, leading to unemployment and rural urban migration. Now here what happened, as you saw in the advantages, there were a lot of machinery in demand, and this machinery came, so the people who were working the manual labor, what happened to them? They replaced this manual labor, were replaced by the machinery. And what happened after that? This led to the unemployment, and people from the rural, and they started from migrating from the rural area to the urban area. Reduction in natural fertility of soil. Now these HIV seeds had more chemicals inside them and the fertilizers were artificial. So what happened? The natural fertility of the soil was reduced. Similarly, when the artificial things will be used for the soil, what will happen? There is destruction of the original soil structure. There is erosion also. There is soil loss. And what will happen then? The microbes, we know that the microbes which come directly from the soil, those are very very useful, and those are used as the fertilizers or the chemicals uh, for the fields or for the farms. And these artificial fertilizers used to kill these microbes and insects. Then the groundwater pollution and depletion, because of so many chemicals used, because of so many artificial fertilizers used, so the groundwater also gets polluted and depleted. These are the disadvantages of the green revolution. To know more about it, I'll be coming in further sessions about the green revolution and what happened, what step they took, whether it was successful, unsuccessful, or what happened. We will be learning in the further sessions. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and have a nice day.